Hi everyone, welcome back. Sorry, do you smell that? Was that you? Was it me? No. Everyone, it's love! That smell is love in the air. And it could also be dog farts. My dogs fart a lot. Now, today we are going to be talking about the most amazing show that Netflix has ever given us. No, not Stranger Things. No, not whatever other show they've done. I'm talking about Love is Blind. Oh! Yes, we're going to be talking about Love is Blind Season 8 in this video. I'm going to go through the first 6 episodes that they dropped this season. Yes, they dropped 6. Holy shit. Hi, I'm back after recording the first part of that. I realized after recording just my jabbering about the first episode that these are going to be longer and probably take longer to edit than I thought. So I'm actually going to break this down into doing a video on episodes 1 through 3 and then 4, 5, and 6 later on. Enjoy the yapping. I will leave time codes down below so you can jump around if you'd like. And I will have the next 3 episodes out soon. And we don't leave the pods the entire time, which usually means that these couples are going to drop off like fucking flies as soon as they leave the pods. I think that's why they extend the pod time so long, so they can get episodes out of it. I'm going to be going through the episodes in chronological order, so starting with episode 1, ending with episode 6. So if you haven't seen all of the episodes, that's fine. Just pause the video wherever you're at in your episodes and then come back and continue to watch them. And I don't know, maybe like and subscribe to the channel and share the video. Before I jump into my notes on the first episode, I wanted to preface that if you watch this video and you go, "You're an idiot, you're a dummy, your opinion is wrong." Sure, because that's an opinion. If you're watching this and you see, "I think your opinion about that person is wrong, you had the wrong take, da-da-da-da-da," maybe, because I don't know these people. I'm going to say things about these people. I'm going to make assumptions. I'm going to make inferences. I don't know these people. They could be completely different than how they come across on the show and completely different from what I say about them. What I say should hold no merit, should tell you nothing truly about them, because I don't know these people. Now, will I be making snap judgments based on the little material of them I see on TV? Yeah, because that's the name of the game. That's the reason for the show. So if I have a wrong take on someone, or if by some chance someone on the show sees this and you're like, "You don't know me," you're damn right. So don't listen to anything I say. Who cares, right? Welcome to Netflix's, presented by Nick and Vanessa Lachey, Season 8, Love is Blind. Before we jump into the main meat, the main course meal, I wanted to get us through some appetizers, just some little bits of the show that I noticed that didn't really have enough substance to have a bigger portion to talk about, but just a little something to get into the belly. So I said again, like the last few previous seasons, they are letting us know these bitches eat, okay? I don't know if it's in the contract, you have to like comment on the food and drink spread you are given, because they're like, oh my god, look at this spread. Bagels with 3 different kinds of cream cheeses. Guys, they let you know they feed them. We see them exercising. We hear about them taking naps. They're like, guys, these are not POW camps, okay? I promise. No matter how many people come out and say that this is the worst experience of their life, we take care of them, okay? You're not beating the allegations, Netflix. Nice try. Also, the only other time we have had a licensed song on a season was season 4 when they had I Hope You Dance. And let me just tell you, girl, I hope you dance, okay? But this season, they had like 10, in the first 6 episodes, like 10 songs, like radio songs. So this is where all that extra subscription money is going, Netflix. To pay for fucking Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather. Hey, I can do without it. Let's keep the royalty free and keep my subscription down, okay? The men on this season cannot read. We will get further into that. I appreciate how much this season they have leaned into talking about bigger issues. Directly asking people, how do you deal with conflict in a relationship? If we're having an argument, what are you gonna do? You know, I love that they're actually talking about these things and not just being like, do you like pizza or hot dogs? And then get married based off that. And then outside of the pods, one of them is a yeller and the other one shuts down when they fight. And they're like, how could we have seen this coming? How could we have known? Because you guys are playing 20 questions and tell me the shape of your nipples in the pods the whole fucking time. Yeah, you set yourselves up for failure. They talk about sex a lot, actually. And they talk about politics, like outright. They'll be like, what are your views on this? What are your views on that? And I really appreciate that because these are actual important things that people should be talking about in the pods before they vow their lives to each other. All right, everyone, so let's meet our couples. I'm going to go through some of the main connections that we see develop in episode 1. First, we have Brittany and Devin. Brittany. What'd she say? Brittany and Devin. This is a cute couple together. They seem to have a lot in common. They both play basketball. Yeah, they have a lot of common interests. They seem to laugh a lot together and just have very easy conversations. They haven't gotten into anything too deep in the first episode, but they're getting along very well. Next, we have Daniel and Taylor. Daniel and Taylor are another strong connection right off the bat. They pretty much only talk to each other. Daniel and Taylor have big similarities on how much they love their families and how close they are with their families. Again, they have a good time together. In the first episode, they don't get too deep into things. They just kind of the normal just getting to know you thing. But we see that they're getting along very well. And Daniel seems nice. I just can't get over how much he looks like a Trump son. And I'm going to hold it against him for a long time. And I think I'm still holding it against him. And I'm going to try to get over it and see who he is underneath. But, God! We also have Devin and Virginia. So Devin has Brittany that he's talking to and also Virginia. Devin and Virginia find out that they actually went to the same high school, but 5 years apart. So I don't think they know each other. They seem to not know who the other person is. But again, yeah, they're getting along very well. They have common interests. They tee-hee-hee, they laugh, they have fun. Virginia is a doctor who also danced for the NBA. Ma'am, what are you doing on the show? You tell me you can't find someone outside in real life? You ain't trying that hard. Ma'am. Call me. Hey. Phone's for you. It's me. Ring, ring. It's for you. It's still hold on. Okay, it's on hold. So here. No. You don't. Sorry, it's not gonna happen. I know. I think you came on a little strong. I know, but you. Yeah, but sometimes you gotta let it happen organically, and you're really kind of pushing it right now. I gotta go. I'm kind of in the middle of something, but it'll be okay. Hey, we'll talk later. Okay, it'll be fine. Yeah, I gotta go. Okay, love you too. Bye-bye. What the fuck is going on? Anyways, next we have Joey and Monica. This is another couple that pretty much from the start were only interested in each other. They start off very strong. They both have like very chaotic, high level energy, just like two little chihuahuas yapping at each other, but like having fun, it's a fun yap. Joey does say he has golden retriever vibes, which I was like, the millennial cringe hurts, even from over here. As a millennial Gen Z cusper, and never forget. They make a quick connection with each other. They get along right off the bat. They're having a good time. I thought Joey was weird at first, but the more I watch him, I'm just like, okay, he's just sweet. He's just kind of a sweet, goofy guy. He actually got like a bunch of D1 scholarships for football and turned them all down so we could go to a local community college to help take care of his family. Come on. Monica tells us a story about how she had a boyfriend go on a vacation with a friend and then come back and immediately broke up with her without a reasoning and never saw her again, and she doesn't know why. Monica, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. That man was gay. Next, we're going to move on to David and Lauren. So David is an interesting guy. By interesting, I mean I don't like him. Now, I may say that a lot about the men. I just think in general, women deserve better. David talks about how he's been shallow before in relationships. Before, only looks mattered to him. He just cared about looks. He's never taken girls to meet his family. He works in like aesthetic cosmetic stuff, so like Botox and fillers, and He's trying to convince us that he hasn't also partaken in getting those Botox and fillers, but baby, we can tell that you have. Don't lie to us. Be honest. Because as you'll tell us later, you have not always been honest in your life. Mr. struggles with integrity. What could that mean? He also, right off the bat when he talks to him, and he's like, why are you here? What's wrong with you? Oh. And this turns off a lot of girls. They're like, what? What's wrong with you? What the fuck? As they should. And we've seen in the past, like, I remember Zach coming in and being like, I'm a stripper. Trying to, like, get a reaction because he's insecure a little bit that his mom was a stripper. He wanted to see what their reactions would be. And we found out he's actually a really nice guy. He's just odd. I don't like David. But yes, David meets a girl named Lauren. She tells him her age, and he says, oh, wow, yeah, you're getting old. You must not be hot anymore.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay. So you're no longer attractive.
Oh my god.
She's not bothered by this, and that's great. I guess there has to be someone out there for everyone, right? I think Lauren is a little desperate for love and validation. She kind of has that, why not me? Why haven't I found love yet? What's wrong with me that I haven't found somebody yet? And girl, I'm gonna tell you nothing. Nothing. There is no timeline to finding someone that is a good fit for you. It's very complicated to be in a healthy relationship. A lot of things have to add up and have to match. That doesn't mean you force it, girl. Hey, David, I don't know. It just bugs me that he talks so much about physical attractiveness when he looks like J.D. Vance. David also can't read. He says he reads very well, which, like, he can read a word on a page, but he does not comprehend them. And Lauren's very sweet. She's a previous teacher. She offers to teach him reading comprehension. Lauren is not too late to get the fuck out of here. David also has a second partner that he's interested in. How he has two women that's interested in him, I don't know. But this is Molly. Molly kind of looks like Busy Phillips. She's a fun time. She seems like she's kind of like a fun girl. Woo! She's never had a serious boyfriend, but she's here looking for a fiance and husband. Maybe we should build up to that? I don't know. I'm not a therapist, but I think most people would say, hey, maybe experience one relationship more than 6 months before you decide to commit your life to a person. I do think David and Molly match each other's energy better. Like he's kind of hard-headed and like very strong forth about things, but so is she. They kind of meet in the middle where David seems to do more of the pushing on with Lauren. David says very strangely as well, I don't like David. He says in a very weird way, well, my mom and dad aren't together anymore because my mom passed away. Hey, why'd you say it like that? That was a extremely strange way to say that, my guy. My mom passed away. Why'd you make it sound like it's her fault? That was weird. But he did say she battled stage 4 breast cancer for 10 years before passing away. Badass mom. That's badass. I hope the majority of it she was able to feel decent and really enjoy those last 10 years. Shout out David's mom. Fuck you, David. Sorry. David mentions with Molly here that he struggles with integrity. We'll get to that in a few episodes. And then we see at the end of this episode, Molly, who's talking to Dave, is sitting in the girls' quarters with Lauren, who's also talking to Dave. But something they've also done really great throughout this season is the men and women have really tried to commit to not telling each other who the person they're talking to is. So they'll talk about like, my person did this, my date said this, da-da-da. But they're not saying names as to not interfere with the relationships they're making within the men and women's quarters, which I think is great. But at the end of this episode, we do see that Molly comes to the conclusion that she thinks the other person Dave is talking to is Sarah, when it's actually Lauren. So as Molly's talking about this to another girl, Lauren comes over, and Molly's like, I shouldn't say this, but the person I'm talking to is Dave. So Lauren finds out that Molly is talking to Dave. And we'll see that Lauren thinks that this is an intentional jab that Molly's doing as like a way to get into her head. But Molly thinks that the other girl is Sarah, so that there's no issue telling it to Lauren. Now let's move on to Alex and Madison. So we meet Alex. Alex was bullied in school. I think he's worked through a good majority of it, but he is understandably still kind of an insecure guy, and he says he needs someone in a relationship that's very reaffirming and that's going to be able to validate him when he's feeling low about himself or the relationship. Madison has grown up with a very difficult childhood. She kind of had to parent her parents. Her parents had her very young. They both had drug addictions. Her stepdad, who came into her life when she was young, died of a drug overdose. She had to take care of her mom and her siblings. She's always had like multiple jobs and is very, seemingly like had to grow up fast and is very experienced in the world. But she does still have these lingering trauma responses. I mean, how can you not? Whenever she gets into a feeling of kind of like the fight or flight or gets into a situation that evokes a lot of emotion, she shuts down. Which is not a good mix with Alex, who needs to be reaffirmed a lot. Madison also has a connection with a guy named Mason. And these two were my favorite on the first episode. I thought they were a really cute couple. I was rooting for them right off the bat. They're just kind of, I don't know, they have a fun energy together. They're like laughing the whole time. They're very easygoing. They seem like they talk to each other. It's very natural. It's like they talk to each other with ease and comfortability. But Mason is also talking to a woman named Meg. Meg is bonkers. Meg needs to tone it down just a smidgen. Just a beep, 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 beep. She's like bouncing off the fucking walls talking about like Joe Rogan and aliens and ants. And I was like, it would be a lot for me. But Mason finds it endearing. Good for him. Mason is a horny nerd, like a horny geek. Anytime the girls talk about something remotely sexual, he's like, oh my God. He's having the time of his life in here behind these walls, I'll tell you that right now. Mason's more of like a reserved freak, where Megan is like an out and proud freak. And they really just, they freak together, and that's good. Yeah, they have a good connection. And that's where we stand at the end of episode 1. Let's move into episode 2. Beginning of episode 2, we are introduced to Ben and Sarah as a couple. And right off the bat, again, I really liked this couple. I thought they would look cute together. I just thought they were real cuties. Like when they first came into the pods, they seemed really happy to hear from each other. It seems like maybe they talked once before, and they just have really good energy together. This is where we learn that Ben grew up pretty religious. He goes to church every weekend or every day, or I can't remember what he said. He goes to church very regularly, and he said he grew up in a very Christian household. Sarah, on the other hand, says she's not religious. She grew up, I want to say, maybe Catholic, but she's not really religious these days. She believes in something of like a higher power, but not necessarily like God. And one of the issues that she brings up to Ben is that she wants to know his views on the LGBTQ community, gay people, all that good stuff, because her sister is gay. I told you I knew something about Sarah was gay. It just turns out it's her sister, which I think she's got a little bit of gay DNA in there. I don't know. And Ben's like, no, that's cool. Ben's like, I'm totally down with the lesbians. Yeah, dude. But for some reason, Ben cannot say gay, queer, lesbian. He can't say it. He says things like, I'm good, I'm accepting of that community and those kinds of people. He even references that some of my friends are that way. Ben, it's odd that you're afraid to say the word gay. Just noting it. The rest of this episode really is kind of a filler episode. There's not a lot of big things that go on. We get kind of little tidbits about other people, but honestly, I really think we could have fully done without this episode and just added this information in little pieces of other episodes. So I don't really know why we're extending this for 6 whole fucking episodes in the pods, but I digress. Let's go on to Dave and Lauren. So Lauren is expressing to Dave a lot in this episode that she's getting a little insecure and in her head because she knows that Molly is the other girl that he's talking to, and she's aware that she has competition. Again, not a lot going on with them this episode, but Dave and Molly have some interesting conversations. Dave talks about how he doesn't want to be told what to do at work, and he just wants to be his own boss, which is fine, but then says he wants to have 5 businesses and just kind of oversee them. Okay, so you just want passive income and just do whatever you want. He newsflash Dave. Fucking everybody wants that. Dave also talks to Molly about how he cheated in his past relationship. And I think it's good that he's bringing this up now in the pod. I think that's something you should do if you cheat, is you should let a partner know that, or a potential partner know that beforehand. And Molly, to her credit, at the same time, is like, while I've never cheated, I've been the person that was like the other woman, the person that someone cheated on their boyfriend with. So, I understand. And they both say those are things they'd never do again. But neither one of them, at least that we see, ask any questions beyond this. Like, what were the circumstances? What led up to this? What was going on in the relationship that you cheated on? Like, how did this happen? How, what makes you confident that it won't happen again? None of this is followed up on. They're just like, gotcha. All right, cool, moving on. Which I get maybe can be uncomfortable to ask those questions and to talk about, but like, it's necessary, Monica and Joey. Still being very cute, very sweet. Joey is just kicking his feet talking to this woman. They're having a grand old time. I just think they're they're one of those couples that's just been unproblematic the whole way through. At this point, I think they're going to make it to the end and get married. Sue me. They're cute. All right. And that means that big old Joseph, Mr. Tarzan man, is going to get down on one knee and propose to Miss Monica. And they play Train. The budget. Madison and Alex. So Madison and Alex do a good thing of, again, talking about what they're like when they get into arguments in a relationship. Alex says that, he's had brutal kind of fights in relationships, but prides himself in staying calm in them. He says that he was cheated on by a partner before, and that's caused him, a lot of pain and a lot of trauma from that. And Madison lets him know that she's also been cheated on, and a lot of pain has come from that, and that she's not going to put up with that bullshit anymore. She's going to ask the questions that need to be asked, and if you're not going to value her for the person that she is, she's going to say, kick fucking rocks, Kick rocks with open-toed shoes, as one girl would say.
Go kick rocks with open-toed fucking shoes.
Damn, I forget the people's names immediately. But they do discuss, again, how Alex likes to talk through things and likes to have validation and reassurance. Whereas when Madison gets upset or maybe gets into an argument or feels bad about something, she shuts down and is avoidant. And he expresses that that's scary to him because he's had partners like that and it doesn't work for him. And I think, again, that sucks. When you really like someone and you feel like, oh my gosh, we're such a great pair. Like, when everything's good, we have so much fun together. We have common interests. We really align on a lot of things. But then you get down to something that's so important and so at the root of if a relationship can be healthy or not, like if you fight healthy or not, or if you argue complementary, and that sucks when you find out that you don't, and it probably won't work out. And I've had experiences like that before too, where it's like, dang, I want this to work because this is so nice, but when it comes down to it, fundamentally, I don't think we can work. And that's kind of where Alex is at, where he's like, you can tell that Alex is being a little more realistic about it, where he's like, I've seen how I am in these relationships and it doesn't go well with an avoidant partner. Whereas Madison's kind of more like, no, we can make it work. But I don't know. I feel like she's being a little bit more like blissfully ignorant about it. And then there's Madison and Mason. So Mason also can't read. Jesus. Mason brings up at every opportunity that his favorite movie is Her. And I think he just wants an AI robot girlfriend. Because he talks about movie Her with a lot of passion. There's a new movie Companion out. I think that's Mason's ideal world. Madison is the little voice inside of his head that he's like falling in love with. Which is interesting because when he talks to Madison, he really makes it he's like, I was thinking about you last night when I was holding my pillow. I wish it was you. I wake up thinking about you. Like, he really makes it seem like you're the number one on my list. We have Mason and Meg. And again, Mason is like, Meg, you're just like the voice in my head that's like making me fall in love. You're like this like AI robot voice in my head that just says all the perfect things. And she's like, have you seen the movie Her? And he's like, no fucking way, dude, you know about Her. Oh my god, you cinephile, you know about Her. Mason and Meg also talk about how they have never lived with a partner before. I don't know what people think a relationship is like, that you can just raw dog into a marriage, living together, sharing money and responsibilities and a common space, all of these things that should build on gradually in a relationship for it to be healthy and stable. They're like, why don't we just do it all at once? Yeah, that's a good recipe. And as we can see on Love is Blind, the track record's well, right? I mean, it's not like the last 4 seasons we've only had one successful marriage on the surface. It's just odd that they're like talking about these things that they've never even experienced with a partner and they want to do it in marriage. That's like someone who's never taking a single swimming lesson being like, what if I try to swim from Miami to Cuba? Huh? Do you want to drown? Do you want to drown in this relationship? Devin and Virginia, still getting along. They're doing well. Virginia expresses that she's looking for something different than what she's usually dated, which is more self-centered guys. And Devin seems different. And I will say at this point, Devin seems sweet. I don't know, I don't see a lot of connection between them. They just kind of like talk. I don't know, it's weird. I don't feel a lot of like connection with them. It just almost sounds like colleagues talking, but I don't know. You also have Devin and Britt still on there together. Again, I feel like a little more connection between them. I feel like they really enjoy each other's company and really enjoy talking to one another. They also have dads with the exact same name. Their dads are both Willie Jr. And for a second I was like, but they say it's not the same man, so. And at the end of episode 2, we are about to see Joey and Monica's reveal. Oh yeah, there is still a little bit of drama bouncing around in the women's quarters because, again, Lauren still thinks that Molly is kind of like putting it in her face that she's also talking to Dave. But Molly doesn't know that Lauren is the other one talking to Dave. She still thinks it's Sarah, so. Episode 3. Episode 3 starts off with Joey and Monica meeting, and it is what you'd expect from Joey and Monica. Very cute, very sweet. They seem to genuinely like each other, genuinely be attracted to each other. I think I get nothing but good signs from Joey and Monica. Madison and Alex. This is a rough episode for Madison and Alex. So in the beginning, Madison really wants to reassure Alex that everything's cool, that she's not like the other girls that he's dated. She's not gonna abandon him or judge him or, whatever his preconceived notions of her are. So she gives him Bear Leon to hang on to, her little bear alien stuffed animal that she cuddles up with every night. So after this, they kind of get to a good place. They have a good little date. They're kind of back to like being fun and just having a good time enjoying each other after a bit of a rough patch last episode. Madison is very, she says he's like sexual innuendos. These like sexual innuendos. She's like, I'll eat your pickle. And he's like, oh, haha. Like he does not give it back like Mason does. Mason's also like, all twitchy about it, but he gives it back. He's like, yeah, you want this gherkin? You want this gherkin, girl? And Alex is just like, I like the pickles at the gas station. He just can't be smooth about it. But I feel you, Alex. I feel like I'd probably go more the Alex route. But the next time they talk, again, Madison kind of reiterates that because of her past traumas and how much she's had to like care for her siblings and her family because they're very dysfunctional, that whenever she feels like she's in an emotional place or feels like falling apart, she just kind of shuts down. She turns off all emotion. She says she feels like a robot. She kind of goes into autopilot, but it's been because it's really like a survival mode type thing. Like she's trying to preserve herself, right? Like she kind of gets in the headspace of like, okay, if I'm going to survive, if I'm going to be able to take care of everyone, I can't be worried about all these emotions. So I'm just going to shut them all off and worry about everyone's safety and who's eating and, going to work. Of course, Alex hears this and he wants to be like reassuring and he wants to know like, okay, well, if you get into that situation, if you get into like robot mode, what can I do? How can I help you? He just really wants to be supportive of her, but he's very much like, how can I fix it? I want to make it better. And she lets him know, she's like, hey, sometimes you can't make it better. It's more so just like riding the wave, We just have to go along with it until I get out of it. There's nothing you can really do. And to him, that's upsetting because he's like, well, I don't want to not be able to do anything, you know? And he even says to her, he's like, I want to be honest to myself and to you if I think your struggles that you have are something that I feel like I can handle. And I feel like that's really hard to say, but I did like give him props for that. Because again, that happens in partnerships. Like, you can really love a person and have a great relationship with them, but if you feel like you, for whatever reason, can't handle them at their, you know, quote unquote worst, it's not gonna work. And I feel like I've been in positions like that before, where like I've had people that I'm like, ooh, maybe I don't think we said this to each other's faces, but it's like, I can't handle that issue that you have. I'm not equipped to handle it. Not to say there's anything wrong with you, but you need someone that can be supportive and understanding the way that you need, and I can't do that. And same for other people with me. They're like, hey, I can't. You're cool, we get along, but I can't handle that, you know? So I get it. So they fall quickly back into a weird place. Mason and Madison. Mason's getting a little annoying at this point because he just cannot make up his mind in any direction between Madison and Meg. And he's telling them both, like, I always think about you. You're at the top of my list. I've never felt this way about someone. Making it seem like they're the top contender. They both think they're number one on its list. I understand he doesn't want to hurt their feelings. He doesn't want to make it seem like he has a favorite. But in trying to not sway either way or make them feel a certain way, he's kind of making it worse. Because now someone's going to be blindsided because they think they're at the top. Mason even brings up that he always gets he's never the one to break up. He always gets broken up with in relationships because people give up on him, and he feels like he stays in it and wants to work on it, and the other person gives up. And again, I kind of see it playing out with these two girls he has now, where he just doesn't want to make a decision because he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, right? He's like, I don't want to hurt Meg's feelings, but I don't want to hurt Madison's feelings, so I'm just going to keep this relationship going with both of them. But especially in this situation, you can't do that. That's how he must have been in relationships in real life, where maybe the partner is like, hey, this isn't working. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to break up because I might hurt your feelings, so I'm going to keep going. Where they're like, I mean, yeah, it's going to suck to break up. We should probably fucking break up. Mason and Meg. So again, Mason is kind of reassuring Meg that she's his number one. He's always thinking about her. He's never felt this way. But at the end of their conversation, Meg does point out, Mason leaves the room and she's literally like, bye. And she says, miss you. And he just leaves. And she's still laying there on the couch and she's like, he never says miss you. You know, why can't you just say miss you? And you can see on her face too, she's getting kind of sick of Mason's shit. Dave and Lauren. While he's talking with Lauren, they're having a good time. He's talking about like how he's opening up and he feels so connected, and then he's not like this in real life, which to me is a little odd. I get what he's saying, like, I don't usually connect with people like this. But I don't know, to have a good conversation with someone and feel commonality and to have a good conversation, you don't do that with people. Again, I could be nitpicking because I don't fucking like Dave, but it just came off as a bit of a red flag to me. Dave also talks about like Lauren's not really his type because he doesn't usually go after teachers. As if teacher is a personality type and there's not a range of people that could be teachers. So they talk a little bit about politics. Dave talks about how he doesn't really feel fully Republican or fully Democratic. Democratic. You know, Republicans don't want taxes and don't want government in their business, which is so ironic. Anyways, but I'm just like, still, who did you vote for, Mr. Businessman? Mr. I want to have 5 businesses that just make me money. Very business oriented, very money oriented. Who'd you vote for? Just a question. Dave thinks that you can be in a relationship and not have the same political views. And I fully disagree with that. You don't agree with my political views. And my political views are really not that crazy. Just, human rights, respect for people, equity. If you're like, I can't get down with that. And even another example from Love is Blind. Look at Marissa and Ramses from the other season. It doesn't work. Devin in Virginia. They have a nice conversation. This is kind of a filler episode for them. They don't really say a lot, but at the end of their conversation, Devin does feel like there's something Virginia isn't telling him, and we don't elaborate past that. So I guess in the next few episodes, maybe we'll find out what he feels like she isn't telling him. And lastly, we have Devin and Brittany. Again, they just kind of have like a pleasant conversation. This kind of feels like a filler episode for them too. They're just giggling and laughing and still talking about their lives. And also says that he has 3 adopted siblings. I think he said a total of 5 siblings. But I just thought that was really cool. That is, he said his mother's very caring and very loving and wanted to help some kids out from a bad situation. So she adopted some kids. And I think that's great. I think it makes it sound like he has a very loving, supportive family. And that's where we leave off on episode 3. The dynamic between Mason, Meg, and Madison is rocky, as well as the situation between Dave, Lauren, and Molly. So we'll have to see how this pans out. Who ends up with who? Who gets engaged? Who breaks up? Oh my goodness. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe. I'll have more Love is Blind videos coming out. If you like these, there's more coming. If you don't like these, I make other videos. Check them out. Yeah, let me know down below how you guys like the first 1 through 3 episodes. Please don't spoil anything. If you comment below, don't spoil anything past episode 3. Alright, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.